Hello, it's me, Jay, your GM, and I'm on my phone.
Yeah, and it's me, your heir. I'm not on my phone. I'm recording in OBS, which means um, obsolete bullshit is what it stands for. But Jay taught me how to set it up since his computer exploded, and here we are.
It sure did. But you know what? New computer's on the way, and I'm only going slightly insane during the wait, so it'll be fine.
Now, you couldn't get your hookup for the hard stuff? Did you perhaps buy some sort of methadone to keep yourself um,
I
uh,
did actually buy
off the
a
streets?
tablet that I got overnight shipped to me so that I could be on a computer faster, which is maybe the lowest moment of my adult life. I truly have never felt more pathetic than the moment I realized I cannot go 2 weeks without some sort of device in my hands.
But you see, like this
Um,
is the thing. It wasn't even some device because you clearly ordered that device on your phone. So it's like you had a little
yeah.
screen that you used to buy a
Yeah.
bigger screen. And then have you used that bigger screen to buy an even bigger screen?
Well, I had already bought the bigger screen, which is the new computer, so
So
one monitor life is hard. Okay, it's hard. Um, all
so
right, so
this
let's
is an
talk about
intervention.
yeah, okay.
We're all here
I'm
to
not
talk
here
to
to
you.
live blog about my life. I'm here about TTRPGs and the exciting stuff, and sometimes, hey, segue, the unexciting stuff that happens.
You know, we have been talking a lot about the null result because it's been a talking point in the game that has stolen our hearts, Draw Steel, where they
Exactly.
work tirelessly to remove it. But it really, I just had an experience in my ongoing D&D campaign, which really showed just what a mislabeling that is because it's not the null result, it's the dull result. Because, man, I mean, you can see the screen. Can you see the screen right now? You can't see the screen right now. I got my character sheet up right here, right now. And if you, Jay, could see my save, you'd see con save +7. And then
Uh-huh.
my next best saves are my int, wiz, and chaw, which are all +5. But do you think I could make a wisdom saving throw to get the hell out of hold person over multiple rounds of combat? A hold person that was cast on me, mind you, before
Hmm.
combat even started? No, I could not. I failed the
Yeah.
save again, and then again, and then again. And yeah, so basically, like the only thing I got to do was RP, where our wizard was like, "We have Rary's telepathic bond." I'm like, "Oh, we do? Okay." So for the past several rounds, all you've heard is "Save me, save me, save me, save me, save me, save me, save me," and that is everything I could do in this combat right now. And
Yeah, you
man,
literally spent like how long in this combat? Just
the
completely
entire
helpless.
session, because like
How long was
the
the session?
session was about 2.5 hours. I had to duck out a little bit early because of a sick
You
kid.
spent the time of a feature-length
Film
movie completely
stuck, completely
incapacitated.
stuck. Now, was it funny? Yes. Was I still
Yeah.
entertained and amused because it was so ridiculous? Yes.
Uh-huh.
My good friend Scout's character like ran over and grabbed up my sweet little wizard boy, who's actually a warlock, scooped him up, and then immediately took 84 points of damage and dropped on top of me. It was just such a comedy of errors, but like, you know, if I were a player who enjoyed doing things in
Uh-huh.
combat more so, I might
Uh-huh.
have been slightly perplexed, maybe even
Yeah, I mean,
miffed.
I had a combat like that a long, or I guess much worse than that a long time ago. I ran the Icewind Dale
Oh, I
adventure
know this
in
story.
I ran the Rhyme of the Frost Maiden adventure
Hmm.
several years ago. I ran it for a group of friends. They got through several levels of content. They were really making their headway into it. We were in the middle part where you're kind of free to explore around before you get into the end game part of the story. And one of the adventures is you go find a crashed Mind Flayer ship. Um, and my heroes sneak their way into the front door, sneak their way up the stairs, sneak their way to the boss chamber, accidentally got in a fight with the boss, which was a group of gnomish mind players, and started a Colville screw where the enemies from all the rooms they snuck past sneaked up or came charging in after them, and they got blasted by a mind flayer mind blast, and just got all of them paralyzed, like stunned. One of them managed to save out eventually and escape before they got killed, but everyone else died. And after I mentioned this story in the Discord, from you had brought up your story, I brought up my story in relation. 2 players years later popped in to be like, "Yeah, this is the worst combat experience I've ever had in my life." That's nearly a top spot that I would love to claim. But yeah, so definitely the null result can be painful, especially when compounded on a save or suck spell that doesn't just doesn't even have the decency to just be like rocks fall, everyone dies, right? Like it's one thing if I fail a saving throw and I just die, and at least then I can fully check out. But you're still making me pay attention enough to roll my save every turn. Will give me the false hope that I'm going to be a participant. Yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, we're level 11. I feel like a +5 wisdom save isn't awful. Like, it's not.
Yeah, a +5 isn't awful, but at level 11, it might as well be +0 because the saving throw DC has gone up to like 20 something at that point, like 17, 18, 19. So a +5 gives you what, like a 40% chance, 30% chance of success?
Yeah, I gotta roll like if it's 17, I gotta roll a 12, right? So
Oh my god.
great.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's only like a 60% chance of failure. Only 60% chance. So you actually had somewhat worse than even odds and still failed every roll for the whole night.
It's really rough. And like I get why these save or suck abilities exist, right? Because they
Sure.
are very in keeping with the fantasy genre. The idea of, like my mind goes to like the Gandalf and Saruman fight where Gandalf is completely outclassed and Saruman just casts levitate on him and flings him around, telekinesis and levitate and whatever, and just flings him around the room,
Mm-hmm.
hoists him up, like, all of this classic
Or
wizard
like when
shit.
Frodo is like gripped by terror by the Nazgul, so much so that he cannot even hope to escape from the oppressive weight of their approach until eventually he just barely manages to pull the ring off at the last moment and escape. Like that's a classic fantasy fiction of like
Yeah.
the overwhelmingly powerful enemy.
And like that is all fine and well and good, but it needs to be in terms of like game mechanics. Like I get it from a narrative standpoint, but if you're going to put forward game mechanics to support it, it needs to be there needs to be some sort of check and balance cuz like my friend even came over and tried to ruin their concentration and her monk hit them lots of times. None of it even phased them once. Like so I'm doing
I think
multiple
it's the
saves,
result.
she's forcing multiple concentration checks, and even then this damn thing has stats and infinite spell save DC that there's just never going to come close to, and it's
And you
it's
see
it's
the
rough.
null result all through D&D design. I mean,
Yes.
by design, it's meant to be there. But you see, I mean, like armor class is a great example of the null result. Also exists as evasion in Daggerheart, and of course it's in Pathfinder as well because Pathfinder is an evolution of D&D. These systems all inherit this like history of well, sometimes you're just going to miss. And players love that on their side of things, being the evasive dodge tank, right? Being the one who has the
Hmm.
really high AC and can avoid every hit. But that's a no result for the GM, and it is fun as the GM. Like when you are, I mean, the GM is a player too and should be having fun and getting to put pressure onto the players by, attacking the ways of which the mechanics say I'm supposed to be able to do damage to players. Like when a player maxes out their AC, it basically just means don't target that player. But if you do that, then the player's like, well, you're just not, you're playing around my strengths and not letting me live out the fantasy of my character. Yeah, but the fantasy of your character sucks. The
I mean, the
fantasy of your
fantasy of your
character is
character is
boring.
great for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it makes the game worse. And also, like, because I can't hit you, now I'm hitting this other character on the field who's like very, very squishy and soft, and they're taking an excessive amount of damage, and everyone's looking at me like I'm the villain here. I'm sorry, you made your armor class so high that I can never stop working to hit you.
And
And
it's like,
obviously, as a GM, you have to like roll with the punches a little bit and be fair and but you just wish the game design were somewhere where you didn't have to hold, pull your punches in order for the game to feel fair, right? Like where you didn't
yeah.
have to like, specifically play into a poorly designed or bad setup in order for everyone to feel happy that the character's doing what it's supposed to do, right?
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, it, it sometimes feels like if you're in a system where you can min max and optimize and create a build that is very efficient, and
Mm-hmm,
those builds are of the subset of all the builds that can be built, and they're a very small subset of that. If you
mm-hmm,
have so much as one player playing one of those builds, you've mentioned it all the time where like you have to level set around, well, like if I make a monster that can hit the paladin and actually like take on the tank, if they
mm-hmm,
happen to switch targets to the wizard will die in a
mm-hmm.
round. And
Right,
that
yeah.
that sucks too, but it's like, well, but isn't that playing out your fantasy? Aren't you a glass cannon? Like, did you just want the
I
cannon
mean,
part?
exactly, right? It's like,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where it's just like, no matter how you play it, somebody's the villain. Like
Yeah.
somebody's getting short shrifted, somebody's in the wrong. Either the player who maxed out their stats so high that nobody can hit them, they start to feel a little guilty, like, oh, maybe I messed things up a little bit by doing this. Or you, the GM, start to feel a little guilty, like, oh, I hate targeting this person and doing nothing, but I don't want them to not feel like they did something with their build or whatever. Or, oh, I hate targeting the wizard who has 35 hit points at level 10, but they're the only viable target in this party. Yeah, it's just a mess. And when you brought up that story, it definitely, I mean, I have 100 stories of it. I've heard stories from other people of it. Just like so many nights of D&D that basically boil down to, yeah, I showed up, rolled a save, and then got to do nothing for the rest of the night. And it's just such a bad feeling, and you cannot believe it still happens for 50 years of this game existing. Like, figure it out, guys.
And we've had friends, like people we play with, who have said, "Oh no, I don't like systems where, like Draw Steel, and a lot of
Mm-hmm,
other like some of the PBTA games, are like where you can't fail, like there's no AC equivalent, and I can't just be missed because I like the fantasy of being unhittable, right?" And I'm like,
but I think
sure,
that, honestly, I think that people who say that, I think it's largely got to do with, how do I say this and not sound like an asshole? I think it's a okay. This definitely sounds like an asshole. It's a failure of imagination because you haven't played in a system without that. You've only ever played in systems like that, and so you only know the one way that tanking feels in a TTRPG. But if you got into Draw Steel and you had those huge hit points and then those massive recoveries, and you could swing your health in big swaths all at once, and you had these cool shadow abilities that let you have incoming damage and then roll and then hide all at once, or these cool tanking abilities that let in like punish enemies for targeting anyone but you. Like, once you start experiencing that, you'll realize like, oh, there is tanking in this game. It's not take zero damage and stand there like an iron unbreakable wall, but it is tanking. And it's tanking in a meaningful, strategic way, not just like,
yeah.
again, standing there untouched by all aggression.
I have made my tactician character to kind of be a frontline tank primarily. And yeah, like they can do a strike that taunts the target, which gives them, like a double bane to attack anyone other than me for a round.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I know I am going to take damage, so I've also built to have lots of recoveries and a lot of
Mhm.
stamina. And that's the thing, they also leave it because they're making it stamina and not health in any way. It's not the volume of blood in your body or whatever.
Right.
It is about like, yeah, I can still swing it narratively as, oh yeah, I took the brunt of that hit, and I am the weaker for it. I'm that much closer to not being able to withstand a hit like that once more. But I'm going to focus up and use my maneuver to catch my breath or whatever to get some
Hmm.
stamina back. But yeah, so like I think that still completely fulfills the tanking prophecy without making the director, the game master, whatever, feel like they can't make any progress at all. Like,
Right.
yeah, where
Everybody wins in that scenario. You get to be tough and impressive and powerful, and the DM, or like the director, gets to challenge you and create an inch, like push you and like get you to use your resources. And everybody's having fun. Everybody's feeling like a good time, and nobody's like feeling upset that they, oh, my build wasn't used. Oh, you played around my build. None of those negative feels bads are theirs. Like, I was thinking about Daggerheart and the feels bad of a attack in that game because it is entirely possible with a low roll to roll a low roll with fear that misses the enemy's like evasion, so you don't get a hit against the enemy. You give the GM a fear, and you pass the turn order to the enemies. So like the triple whammy of that is the null result to like an extreme, right? Like it's like bad on bad on bad for a low roll. Whereas in draw steel, the worst thing that happens if you low roll is you do less damage,
yeah,
but you still do damage.
or your effect has a lower potency, so they're that much more likely to resist it, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on the
Yeah, but
ability.
it's like a lot less punishing.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And that is part of the reason I think we've really enjoyed it. I think one of the things I've realized about Draw Steel is they've talked a good deal about how they moved the kind of battle of attrition between like spell slots and whatnot, and that dwindling of resources that was spread out over the length of the adventuring day, and they've just taken it from that macro level and they put it down to the micro level. Each combat is a battle of attrition, right? You are gaining resources and spending resources, and everyone's taking damage on both sides with every action that's taken, and it's just
Mhm.
who's making that progress faster. So they've put the battle of attrition where it makes the most sense in these pitched battles between monsters and heroes, and I think that's
Yeah, and the
really
attrition effect is contained within that one battle. So when you start the
yes,
next battle, you're not sitting there feeling like, oh, I've got nothing left in the tank
yeah,
and I can't contribute to this one because I spent everything on the last one.
yep, it is
Again, the
absolutely
dull
amazing.
result.
The
The
dull
dull
result,
result has been removed.
yep.
Yeah, so I think that's everything I have to say on this one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people, just make give your players the maximum chance to have fun. Like, do model from the genre your of whatever your game is trying to render, but also remember it's a game and that the rules should make it a fun one. Hey, thanks, bye.
All
Okay,
right, well,
people.
thanks for joining me again, Aaron. Thanks for
Yeah,
actually recording this and doing all the editing for me. I don't have to do anything. This feels great. Break my
editing,
computer more.
editing. Oh, well, we'll see what maybe. Or maybe they see exactly what we just did, and that's the video. We'll find out, won't we, in the fullness of time.
We'll find out.
Bye,
It's in your
ever.
capable hands now. Bye.
Bye.